So, today we're going to be doling out some survivor tips. 69 tips, in fact, in 420 seconds. Wow, my life is a meme. This video will cover broad strokes from beginner tips to advanced tips. A good proportion of you will know every single one of these and probably question why they'd even be on a list like this, but as with my myth videos, I've tried to pick things that weren't immediately apparent to me when I started playing. If you're under 100 hours, you should get a lot from this, and if not, then jot down every time I say something you already know, and let me know your score in the comments. Oh yeah, algorithm interaction. I'm a real YouTuber. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then hit that subscribe and like button. Okay, let's go. Start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Dead by Daylight is all about timing. Learn how long actions take and plan accordingly. It takes 80 seconds to complete a gen solo, 47 seconds to complete a gen with 2 people, 38 seconds to complete a gen with 3 people, and 36 seconds to complete a gen with 4 people. For each person working on a gen, there is a 15% charge per second decrease for each individual player. If you can't find any generators on an outdoor map, then look for their flashing lights in the air. If you can't find any generators on an indoor map, then look for flashing lights in the environment. 7 generators spawn in the map. If you complete 4 generators that are in the same area, you'll 3-gen yourself. This allows the killer to hold the game hostage and probably get the win because patrolling those 3 nearest gens will be super easy. You can tell if the gens in the Haddonfield houses are complete before entering by checking whether or not the lights outside of them are flashing or switched on fully. While the purple engineer's toolbox is faster at repairing than the green commodious toolbox, the green toolbox actually completes more of a gen than the purple toolbox due to its number of charges, making it the better choice of the 2 for solo repairs. Brand new parts override the speed of a given toolbox while still consuming its charges, so don't use them on the purple toolbox or in conjunction with speed add-ons. Brand new parts completely counter fast track. Do not ever use both together. A yellow progress bar indicates that this action is being sped up by some perk or item. A red progress bar indicates this action is being slowed down by some perk or item. Generator progress bars appear red when multiple people are working on a generator due to the aforementioned 15% speed penalty. Actions in Dead by Daylight take charges, and by default, survivors perform actions at 1 charge per second. To follow on from the previous tip about generator speeds, generators contain 80 charges. That's why it takes 80 seconds to repair. It takes 16 charges to heal a survivor. This is the same for both the injured and dying states. You heal other survivors without items or perks at 1 charge per second, so it takes 16 seconds. You self-heal at 0.5 charges per second, so it takes 32 seconds. This is why it takes longer to recover on the ground or use self-care to heal yourself. A maximum of 2 survivors can heal another survivor at once, be they in the dying, injured, or deep wound state. Learn to look behind you while being chased. Otherwise, you'll be dropping pallets and making mistakes constantly because of a lack of information. Vaulting head-on is faster than vaulting side-on. If the killer is close, try and hit the vault head-on. If you vault the same window while in a chase too many times, it will become blocked to you. This doesn't happen to drop pallets, however, so vault away. Sometimes it's better to take a hit than to drop the pallet of a powerful loop. Shack, for example, should be saved for the mid/end game. The cow tree is one of the strongest loops in the game. As a survivor, you want to make sure you're running it this way so you can guarantee the fast vault. Don't drop that pallet until absolutely necessary, as this greatly reduces its effectiveness. LT walls are extremely strong when played well in spite of their lack of a pallet. As a survivor, you get a lot of information via these 2 windows, and as you're in third person, you can dummy running to one of the sides, check where the killer is going, and then move in the opposite direction. I'd argue that the lack of a pallet of these loops is actually one of their advantages, as they're always strong and aren't dependent on whether or not your team has dropped the pallet. When you go to work on a generator, do a quick glance at what the nearby loops are. Is there a pallet resting against a rock that you can run towards the killer shows up? Are you in a dead zone? If you aren't in a great spot, it isn't hugely important, and it's probably better to just do the gen and see what happens, but it's good to know where you are so that when the killer does eventually show up, you aren't having to run in a random direction and look for somewhere to go. The best way of doing well in chases is by learning to chain multiple loops together. Sometimes a strong loop will spawn right next to another strong loop. On their own, they're great, but together, they're incredible. It takes 20 seconds to open an exit gate without any perks increasing that speed. The lights at the exit gates reflect how far through the opening the gates are. That's 1 light every 25% of progress, so 1 light at 25%, 2 lights at 50%, and 3 lights at 75%. This is the only way that a killer can know how complete a gate's opening is. If you're the last survivor alive and the killer has closed the hatch, then you can use this to your advantage to escape. Wait out hiding nearby until you hear the killer's terror radius. As it starts to fade, run onto the gate. Hold it for 4 seconds, count 4 seconds that is, and then walk away. It's important that you walk and not run on to prevent scratch marks here. When the killer returns, it'll be as if the gate hasn't been touched. They have no way of knowing that it's a quarter done. The moment the terror radius starts to fade again, jump back on the gate and commit it to completion. If the killer returns before you finish, you're dead no matter what, but 16 seconds should be enough time to open it and escape. If you're alive, the exit gate is open and another survivor is stuck being chased or is on the hook, you need to commit to leaving or helping. Do not stand in the exit gate area. You will be chased out. Instead, if you want to heal up with another survivor or wait to assess the situation before running in, move just outside and nearby the gate. You can leave if you have to, but there isn't a choke point that will allow the killer to force you to leave. The endgame collapse starts when the exit gates are open or the hatch has been closed by the killer. At the end of it, the entity will take and kill all survivors remaining in the trial. It takes 2 minutes for the endgame collapse to finish. If a survivor is injured or hooked, then the speed at which the endgame collapse goes down is halved, so up to 4 minutes its max. 99ing a gate, that is getting the progress to run 99%, so only a single tap will open it, will give your team more time to get hook rescues or heal up. If you aren't sure on the exact state of the game and don't need to leave immediately, then 99ing a gate should be the default thing to do. The hatch will spawn and open when only one survivor is left alive in the trial. Some perks can become crutches if used too frequently. Deja Vu, for example, won't help you learn gen spawns as effectively as actively searching for gens. Barbecue and Chili is an extremely common killer perk that allows the killer to see anyone 40 meters away from the hook for 4 seconds when hooking another player. Jumping in a locker as the killer is about to hook someone counters this. You can also use the red glow of the generator to hide yourself if you know the angle of the hook, as your aura and the aura of the generator are both red. If you're trying to get a flashlight save, don't start as the animation plays. Flashlight blinds that save the carry survivor only work if the blind occurs after the pickup animation is finished. Similarly, don't drop pallets or pallet stuns until that animation is ended. Your flashlight position will sway while it's being held, even if you aren't moving the mouse or analog stick. Try and learn the pattern like you would a gun in a shooter, and you'll always hit with pinpoint accuracy. If you're running out of time, level 1 challenges offer the same rift progress as level 4 challenges and are significantly easier. You can go back and complete closed tome challenges for additional blood points. Escaping will increase your MMR, putting you against better opponents and with better teammates. Dying, on the other hand, will decrease your MMR. Escaping via the hatch doesn't cause your MMR to increase or decrease. The points at the endgame screen are the total number of blood points earned by the player during that trial. You can earn up to 32,000 blood points per trial. There are 4 categories for earning blood points in a trial, each with an 8,000 point blood cap. These are earned for repairing generators, helping teammates with healing and hook rescues, escaping chases, and performing self-survival actions like self-heals and escaping the match. Make sure that you play some killer games. It's fine if you want to main one role, but you'll be more knowledgeable and effective in that role if you're aware of what the game is like from the other side. Use the fact that you're in third person to your advantage by being aware of the differences this affords you. You can, for example, see around corners without giving away your position to the killer by being directly in their line of sight. Crows will fly away when a survivor or the killer runs past them. Learn to identify crows flying in the distance, as these will help you track your teammates and the killer's movement. Killers walk faster than you but are slower at navigating obstacles. Understanding this and the speed at which each killer moves, something I've covered in detail before, will allow you to succeed much more frequently. Each hook phase lasts 60 seconds. Survivors dictate the flow and direction of a chase. It's up to you where it will go next once a loop has been thoroughly used up, and it's important to remember this because you need to avoid leading the killer towards where your teammates are working on a generator. This is because the entire purpose of chases is to distract the killer while your teammates are getting gens done. If your teammate has been in a long chase, they're injured, and they're coming towards the point where you expect them to go down, that is a good opportunity to run in and take a hit. Don't wait by pallets for the killer to walk through them if you can avoid it. If you drop a pallet and get hit, then that was a total waste of that pallet. You're also limiting the amount of time you have to use the speed bonus you get from getting hit to gain distance. So much of a killer's ability to track survivors is dependent on audio and visual clues rather than seeing the survivor directly. This is why Iron Will is such a good perk, as it completely nullifies your moaning sounds. As you leave scratch marks wherever you run, stopping to a walk when out of line of sight of the killer is a great way of confusing them and shaking them off. Detective's Hunch reveals the auras of all generators, chests, and totems within 64 meters for 10 seconds when a generator is complete. It will also add all of these objectives to a map if you're carrying one, so a green map with no add-ons or Detective's Hunch is a fantastic combo. Don't be a knob. Stop teabagging at the exit gate and pushing the flashlight when stunning the killer. It's like having a loud engine in your car. It signals that you're insecure about your ability, and everyone thinks you're a prick. So stop it. Righto! 69 survivor tips, 420 seconds or less. I actually don't actually know how long that was, so I'm gonna have fun editing and figuring that out. Did you know all of these? Is this video totally worthless to you? I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I spoke very fast throughout this whole video. I'm gonna go and take a rest.